you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my aim to develop a new formula which would combine all the best features of present-day anesthetics. I believe within a matter of days I'll be able to report the complete success of my experiment. Meanwhile, may I say a few more words of explanation? Here is the section of the brain where the reaction will occur. And it will come very quickly, within seconds of injection. The anesthesia should be complete for approximately 1 hour, during which time the mind may indulge in dreams or fancies, normal or otherwise. That, of course, would have to be checked. From my present findings, however, the anesthetic is safe and easy to administer. So until my final report, I think that's all. Thank you.
Goodrich, this will be a very important contribution for the Wilmot Institute.
Thank you, Doctor.
I hope it will be successful, Miss Goodrich.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good work, Nora.
Thank you, Stephen.
She was really wonderful, wasn't she, Stephen?
I think so.
Look, Arline, will you take these reports back to the laboratory for me?
Yes, Nora.
I'll drop in to see you for a few moments, may I?
Sure. Hand me the formula D, will you, Arline?
Yes, Nora. You're not worried about this anesthetic, are you?
Not at all. It's safe. The only thing I don't know is its after effects.
Still sure you want to try it on yourself?
Not only am I sure, but I'm going to do it tonight in my own apartment. I want you to help me.
Why don't you do it here where there are oxygen tanks and everything? Just in case anything goes wrong.
You know how the Institute feels about clinical tests. And all the red tape I'd have to go through before I could even try it. And then Stephen, if he ever found out. Remember, Arlie, not a word to him.
Oh, of course not.
Check that distillation while I take care of this, will you?
Hello, darling.
Oh, Stephen, what you doing?
Oh.
Look out, it's going to explode! What's the matter with you, Arline? You've seen this happen before.
I know, but it always frightens me.
You know, a few more drops of that and we'd have had a real fire.
I'm sorry, girls. It was my fault. Oh, Arline, I wonder if you'd do something for me. Down the library on the 3rd floor, there's a monograph on osmosis. It's called The History, Theory, Development, and Prospects for Osmosis and Allied Phenomena. Would you get it for me?
How long do you think it'll take me?
Just a couple of minutes.
Okay, I'll wait outside.
Stephen, remember science.
Why did I fall in love with a chemist in a smock?
Well, you didn't have to. Besides, this is a place for pure, cold science.
Well, here's a pure, cold, scientific kiss. Dinner tonight?
I can't.
Why not?
Oh, there's something I have to do.
But I've got to see you tonight.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you when I see you. I'll be over to your apartment about 8.
All right. But you have to leave by 9.
We'll see.
You'll see.
You know, the thing I like about you is you're never stubborn. See you at 8.
All right.
How's osmosis?
Well, you ought to know.
Well, there's nothing more to do here, Arline. Have your dinner and come up to the apartment about 9.
I'll be there. Oh, Nora.
Yes?
When are you and Stephen going to be married?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't made up our minds yet.
You want to marry him, don't you?
Of course I do. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering.
What?
Oh, I was wondering if I'd like working in a lab so much that I'd let it delay my marriage. And I don't think so.
Well, I guess that's something we have to make up our own minds about. See you tonight, huh?
Okay.
Good evening, Miss Goodrich. Your car is ready for you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
Well, I hope you're not hurt.
No, I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm okay.
I'm terribly sorry I didn't see you.
had a couple of drinks. I'm all right now.
Come on, let me take you home.
Let me through here. Let me through. Here, I seen this accident. I seen the whole thing. I was standing right over there. Here's my card. The name is Rintz. I got a friend who's a lawyer. We handle cases like this. This young lady's hurt pretty bad, ain't she?
I don't think so.
Well, how do you know?
I haven't got time to talk about it.
Yeah? Okay. Say, miss, maybe you'd like to have me handle this case for you.
No, certainly not.
You better take my card. The name is Rintz. J.W. Rintz. Follow that car.
Beautiful, ain't it?
I think you'd better lie down, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so. You don't live in a dump like this, do you?
Is there anything I can do for you, Miss?
Jane Karaski. Just call me Jane. Miss sounds like you're talking to somebody else.
I'm Nora Goodrich. Look, this is all I have, but I wish you'd take it.
You don't have to do that. It was my fault.
I'd like to, Jane. Tell me, don't you have any family or any friends?
No.
Where do you come from?
Mississippi.
Well, surely you must know some people in your own hometown.
They're all dead back there. Look here, anyway, I can take care of myself, see?
Very well, Jane. Here's my address if there's anything further I can do for you.
Thanks.
Goodbye, Jane.
Hello, Miss Goodrich. Surprised on knowing your name, huh? The letter's in your glove compartment. Say, that poor girl up there, she was hurt pretty bad, wasn't she? I suppose you carry insurance, huh? Maybe you better have one of my cards. The name is J.W. Rintz. The J.W. stands for Jeremiah Wilkins.
Here's your mail.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Dr. Lindstrom. Come in. The door's open.
Hello. Where are you?
Hello, Stephen. Fix yourself a drink, will you? The things are on the table.
Right.
I'll be with you in a second. I was a little late. I had a traffic accident.
A what?
A girl, a little swift, I think. She fell right in the way of my car.
Did you hit her?
No, I barely touched her. She's all right. I took her on home. See, there was a funny little man there called Rintz.
Called what?
Rintz, you know, like in Wash Your Hands. He kept following us.
Sounds like an ambulance chaser.
Well, I got rid of him.
You do look beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
To begin with, I like your hair.
It's a woman's crowning glory.
Oh?
Did you know that hair usually grows at the rate of 1/50th of an inch a day?
Oh, amazing. You have wonderful eyes.
The eye is a very interesting mechanism.
Oh, really?
The outermost coat of the eye is sclerotic.
Uh-huh.
A strong, white, fibrous structure covering about 4/5 of the eyeball.
Well, that's enough.
And eyes are practically indispensable for seeing.
Uh-huh.
They can also be winked.
Your nose is out of this world.
Now, in mammals, the nose varies in size and shape. Take elephants. The nose is likely to be as long...
As long as an elephant's nose.
Oh, Stephen.
Leave the science in the laboratory. Nora,
Yes, Stephen.
let's go on the balcony.
All right, if you like.
It's warm, the moon is rising. At least it was before I came in.
Then it probably still is.
You know, you could fall over this if you weren't careful.
Well, I don't intend to. Where's your moon?
The moon? The moon? Well, what do you know? Must have gone down again. It's pretty nice anyway, though, isn't it?
Lovely.
I see you're engaged.
Oh, Stephen, that again?
That again. Nora, I want you to marry me tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, darling, you're joking.
Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly serious.
But, Stephen, I thought I told you I can't possibly consider it until after the experiment is finished.
I understand, but something has come up. I didn't learn about it until this afternoon.
What?
I'm being sent to France to establish a manufacturing unit, day after tomorrow.
Oh, Stephen, how wonderful for you.
How wonderful for you, too.
No, Stephen.
I want you to go with me as my wife.
I can't. Really, I can't.
I understand how important your work is and all,
But it's almost done. At least I think it is. Of course, I can't be sure until I...
Until what?
Well, until after the experiment is completed. Oh, please give me a little more time, please.
I can't, darling.
I see. Now, take the diamond. It's a very hard stone and can be used for cutting glass, which is great if you want to cut glass. Yes, dear.
Oh, no. I don't give up that easily. All I want you to do is to think about it tonight. Maybe things will look different in the morning. Love me? That's all I want to know.
Will you go now?
Do you want me to? All right.
Hello.
Oh, so that's it. Going over your notes again. But why so mysterious?
Nora told me not to say anything.
Good night, darling. I'll see you in the morning.
Goodbye, girls. Don't stay up too late.
Good night, Stephen. Stephen's forgotten his briefcase.
Oh, he won't need it tonight. You can put your things on the table here, Arline.
Okay.
Well, here we are. Only 20 cc's, remember?
Nora, before we do
You'll
this...
have to tell me later, Arline. This solution has to be used immediately. Now, I'm depending upon you to record every reaction. Have you got your notebook?
Yes, Nora.
Keep an eye on your watch. I want to know exactly how long it takes for the anesthetic to work. Keep checking pulse and respiration.
I know. You can trust me. I'll put it all down.
I'm sure I can.
Nora, what will I do if anything goes wrong?
Oh, nothing will go wrong. I'm sure I've worked this thing out perfectly. Nothing can go wrong. I'll just go to sleep for a little while. Just go to sleep. For a little while. Just...
Nora. Nora, wake up. Nora.
I'm sorry,
Stephen,
Al.
look.
Wait. Get blankets, quick, anything. Nora! Nora! Arline, get an ambulance, quick! Arline! Call an ambulance! Get the fire department!
Arline, are the blinds down?
Yes, Nora.
Strange. I still seem to feel light in the room.
Hello, Nora.
Stephen. I thought you'd gone to France.
There's been a delay.
Because of this?
No. For some reason or other, they think I'm of more value right here at the moment.
Arline,
Yes, Nora.
do you know, I still can't figure out how this thing could have happened.
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I did what you told me and started to boil. And...
Arline.
That's all right, Stephen. I want to know. You see, I failed.
Let's talk about that later. The most important thing right now is us. Darling, about a week ago, you made me a promise. You said that after the experiment was over, you'd marry me. Well, it's done. I'm asking you again. Will you marry me right now?
You don't have to do that, Stephen.
I don't have to do anything. I love you, and that's all there is to it.
Do you know what my face is going to look like?
It really doesn't matter. I love you for what you are.
Oh, Stephen, please.
Can't you see she doesn't want to talk about it anymore, Stephen?
Arline, will you leave us alone for a moment, please?
Of course.
Darling, don't sit here. Go and stand over there somewhere, will you?
If you want me to.
You're looking at me, aren't you?
Yes, dear.
Please don't. I want you to remember me the way I was, not the way I will be. This is no time to be sentimental, and I'm not. I'm not crying. Really, I'm not.
Nora, listen to me.
Stephen, please don't say anything for a moment. You're looking at me again, aren't you?
No, darling.
I can tell. Oh, what difference does it make when I'm covered with all these bandages?
What can I say to convince you, Nora? Let me put it another way. You never would have promised to marry me if you hadn't loved me, would you?
Of course not.
And if the experiment had worked, you'd have married me the next day.
Yes?
Well, suppose I had an accident, like yours.
Oh, it wouldn't have been the same thing. It wouldn't have been the same thing at all, Stephen.
You're frightened of nothing. Your face is going to be all right. And even if it isn't, well, no matter what happens, I love you. You do love me, don't you?
Yes.
Well, then,
I'm afraid time's up. That's the trouble with time. It just does seem to go so fast. But really, we must get some rest, mustn't we, Miss Goodrich? Yes, indeed. We're very lucky girls to have such handsome men calling on us. There's always a tomorrow, you know. There's always a tomorrow. How are we, dear? Comfortable?
I guess she's right. You do need rest, Nora. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye.
See you tomorrow. Well, let's go.
No, you go. I want to speak to Nora for a moment.
All right. Cheer her up if you can, will you?
Oh, of course I will, but it's so awful. I feel as if I were responsible. You heard her ask how it happened. Does she think it was my fault?
Nonsense. She doesn't think that. She knew it was dangerous.
You don't think it was my fault, do you?
Of course not. You said yourself that Nora mixed it, didn't you?
I know, but if I'd only been quick enough to see what was wrong. Oh, Stephen.
Here. You've nothing to blame yourself for. I'll see you at the Institute.
I'm not going back. I wish I had someone to talk to. I'll be home after 6, the Shoreville Apartments.
Well,
Stephen, please.
All right. I'll drop over.
Oh, Miss Sarah. Oh, yes? We hope you don't mind our saying so, but we do enjoy having visitors when we're feeling so low. It's good for us. We've got to feel that people want us back, you know. Yes, of course. It makes all the difference, really it does. We'll be waiting for you then tomorrow. And the gentleman, too. You'll be here? I'll be here. Good. We'll be so happy to see you. It gets awfully tiresome when we're all alone in the dark. I want to see Miss Goodrich's doctor. Do you know where I can find him? Oh, of course, downstairs, room 900. Thank you. I don't suppose I ought to have told you all this, Doctor, but you see, Miss Goodrich is my dearest friend, and I was afraid...
You were quite right to tell me, Miss Cole. If she was so upset by Lindstrom's visit today, I'll certainly not allow him to come again.
You won't say I spoke to you?
Certainly not. I'll simply leave word that Miss Goodrich is to see no one for at least 2 weeks. But why did he come to see her if she dislikes him so intensely?
I don't know. Perhaps he just doesn't realize. You will keep him away, Doctor.
I will indeed. And thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Hello, Stephen. Come in.
Arline, did anything happen to Nora after I left today?
Why?
Well, I called a few minutes ago, and they wouldn't let me talk to her.
Stephen, would you like a drink?
Well, what's the matter? What is it?
I had a talk with the doctor before I left.
What'd he say?
He's pretty upset about what happened to Nora.
Why? What happened?
Seeing you was too much for her, I guess. He's afraid to let you visit her again. He said she has to have time to readjust herself.
If there were only something I could do.
Stephen, I'll give you a report every day.
Arline, see that she has everything that she wants. Anything at all to make her more comfortable.
Of course. Believe me, Stephen, if I could take her place there, I'd do it gladly. For your sake.
For my sake?
I know how much you love her. You do love her, don't you?
Well, yes, of course.
Then, I wish it were me in the hospital. Instead of her. Oh, dear, I'm afraid our poor flowers are dead. That's the worst thing about flowers, isn't it? At first, they're all pretty and bright, but they don't last forever, do they? 2 weeks and they're all wilted and nasty. But that's life, isn't it? May I come in? Oh, Miss Cole. It's Miss Cole, dear. Isn't she nice to come and see us like this every day? How are you, Nora? We're fine. We're just doing fine, aren't we, dear? We're really doing fine.
I'm glad you came, Arline.
Of course we're glad you came, but we knew you would. You've been so faithful. See you later, Miss Cole. Did you have a good night?
Oh, I sleep, I guess. But I keep thinking about the accident.
Nora, you mustn't talk about it.
I'm sorry.
Would you like me to read to you?
No, not right now, thanks. Arline,
Yes, Nora.
how is Stephen? He hasn't come back to see me since that first time. He hasn't even called.
I'm sure he would have come, but he seems terribly busy.
Tell me the truth.
The truth?
You don't have to protect me any longer. I've got to know.
You know, Stephen isn't the only man in the world, Nora. It's not worth thinking about. Maybe you were lucky to find out in time.
Is there somebody else?
I don't even speak to him now.
Oh, I see. Oh, I can't blame him. Wouldn't have been fair to him anyway. I just wish he'd told me.
Nora, I'll make him come to see you. I'll make him call you. Really, I will.
Do you think I want his pity, Arline?
I may be wrong. He may have some perfectly good explanation.
2 weeks and not a word from him. I understand it. I've just been afraid to face it, that's all.
Oh, I detest him. I just can't help it. I detest him.
Arline, why didn't he go to France?
Why, let me see. The whole project was put off until, well, I don't know. There was something about patents.
Then he didn't give it up because of me.
Is that what he said? How are we now? Everything fine? I'm afraid it's time for our beauty nap, Miss Cole. We must get our rest. Goodbye, Nora. And don't worry. I'll come to see you tomorrow.
Goodbye. Steve. Steve.
Oh, it's good to get away from the lab for a day. Isn't it beautiful? I said, isn't it beautiful?
Oh, yes.
Steve, are you worrying about Nora again?
I went to the hospital again this morning. They still won't let me see her. I can't talk to her on the phone.
I know.
I've spoken to her doctor, and he says I upset her. I can't understand it.
Can't you realize she doesn't want to see you?
But why?
Well, isn't it obvious? She never really loved you, or she would have married you long ago.
Oh, I can't believe that.
But why do we have to talk about it now? Why can't we just enjoy life for a day?
I'm sorry.
Were there any calls from Miss Goodrich?
Yes, Dr. Lindstrom called. He said he'd call again.
Thank you. Well, here we are.
I like the couch, Arline. Thank you. Did Stephen know I was coming home from the hospital today?
I don't know, Nora. Why?
I just wondered.
You see, I haven't seen much of Stephen lately, except to pass him in the corridors. I think he knows I loathe him.
You shouldn't feel that way about him.
After what he's done to you?
He hasn't done anything to me. He just doesn't want me like this. I can understand that.
Nora, what are you going to do?
Do?
I mean, are you going back to the lab?
I haven't made up my mind yet. I don't think so.
On account of Stephen?
No. It'll take a while for my face to heal. And plastic surgery takes time, too.
Plastic surgery?
You wouldn't want to go through life like this, believe me.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes? Yes. It's Stephen. He wants to come over. What shall I tell him?
I'll talk to him.
Are you sure you want to?
Yes, I'll talk to him. Hello, Stephen. This is Nora. No, I'd rather you wouldn't. There's nothing to say. No, I'm not hurt. It's just that I want to make a clean break. You see, the Nora Goodrich you knew is dead. I want to start over again, that's all. No, please don't come up. It won't do you any good. I won't see you. Goodbye.
Well?
It's finished.
Do you want me to go?
Do you mind? I'm terribly tired.
You must be, poor dear. Now, is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I don't think so, Arline.
I'll call you tomorrow anyway.
Thank you.
Good night, Nora.
Good night. Yes? Who is it?
A friend of yours.
Just a moment. Who are you?
You don't remember me. I'm Jane Karaski. Your car knocked me down in the street. Some swell joint you got here. Why do you keep it so dark?
I don't think that concerns you.
Maybe it's kind of artistic at that. Say, what's the matter with your face?
I had an accident.
Oh, so that's where you've been all this time, huh? In the hospital.
What can I do for you, Miss Karaski?
Swell lawyer I've got. He said you wasn't here, but he could have found out where you was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
From now on, I'm going to handle things myself, see?
I know you weren't hurt. I gave you money.
Money. $25. And Wren said I could get 25 grand. And believe me, sister, I'm going to get it.
Leave this apartment immediately or I'll call the police.
You ain't going to call nobody. Sit down.
I wonder if you realize what you're doing.
Sure, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting my rights.
Look, if there's something wrong with you and I can help you, I will.
I was hurt. Bad.
Where?
Internal.
Did you have a doctor?
That'll make no difference. Wren said I could get 25 grand. I'm going to get it.
I don't think so, because I haven't anything like that much money.
Well, how much have you got? Huh? Well, I'll take a look around and find out. The jackpot. Any of this stuff real?
Miss Karaski.
I'll take that ring you've got on your finger, too. Some class. What else you got? Every little bit helps. Quite a wad. Come on, get your hat and coat. You're gonna get me out of this building. We're gonna walk out together, me and you, just like friends. Might as well take the whole thing. Come on, hurry up.
Jumped off the roof.
Fell right on her face. They won't be able to tell who it is.
It's Miss Goodrich.
How can you tell who she is?
That's her engagement ring. She showed it to me.
You were right, Nora Goodrich.
Nora Goodrich?
Don't look, Doctor.
Stephen, it's too late now. Just as I told you, Stephen. Nora's dead. Lying there on the sidewalk. You heard them. Nora Goodrich is dead. Jane Karaski. Why not? Nora Goodrich is dead. I am Jane Karaski.
Name, please?
My name is Karaski. Jane Karaski.
Here's your change. You're set all the way through to Los Angeles. Any baggage?
No, I've had that sent on ahead.
Flight 3 for Washington, Savannah, and Miami, ready at gate 4. Plane for Miami, ready at gate 4. Stratoliner for Los Angeles, ready at gate 5. Stratoliner for Los Angeles, ready at gate 5.
Are these the only photographs you have?
Yes, Doctor. They're not very good ones.
You realize, I hope, it may not be possible to make you look exactly as you did.
Doesn't make any difference. I was never very fond of my face.
Well, I think it was a very pretty face. And I shall do my best to reproduce it. Only you mustn't be disappointed if the result is not quite the same.
I understand, Doctor.
Good. Now, you'll report to the hospital tomorrow morning. All the arrangements have been made, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Magazines, Miss Karaski.
Thank you. Stephen and Arline. But that's impossible. She said she hated him. I wonder. It was she who was always between us. I've got to know. Nurse! Nurse! I've got to get out of here.
What's the matter, Miss Karaski?
I've got to get out of here. I've got to go to New York.
Now?
I've got to go to New York.
Mansfield says it'll be at least 3 more months.
3 more months? I've been here almost a year. I've got to get out of here.
Here comes the last one.
Well, Doctor?
Well.
What's the matter? Is it bad?
No. Not bad, no.
Well, tell me. Let me see. Let me see.
Nurse, mirror, will you please?
Oh, that's not... Doctor, it's wonderful.
It's what you expected?
It's more than I expected. It's what I hoped for.
Nurse, may I speak to Miss Karaski alone for a moment?
Yes.
Well, looks as though I'm going to lose you.
Yes, Doctor.
Any idea what you're going to do from here?
I'm going to go to New York.
New York, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cigarette?
Thank you.
Well, I call it a success.
I would too, Doctor.
You really look the way you used to?
Yes. And I'm very grateful to you, Doctor.
Oh, we won't bother about that. Miss Karaski, you've been lying to us about yourself, haven't you?
Lying?
Yes. You see, I knew from your facial structure that you never looked the way you look now. Never. I'm sure I don't know why you should tell me that you did, and I'm not going to ask. But there's just one little piece of advice I'd like to give you. You can change your face. With clever surgery, you can change your face completely. But you cannot change yourself. You cannot escape the person you are. Now, I don't know who or what you are, and I don't want to know. Anyway, I wish you luck. And I'm glad the operation was a success.
Thank you, Doctor.
How do you like it?
I think it'll do. May I see Dr. Stephen Lindstrom, please?
Your name?
Jane Karaski. He doesn't know me. Just tell him I'd like to speak to him for a moment about Nora Goodrich.
Nora Goodrich? But I thought
If you please.
Well, just sit down and I'll see if I can get him.
Thank you.
Miss Karaski. Miss Jane Karaski?
Yes. Dr. Lindstrom?
Yes, how do you do? I understand you want to talk to me about Nora Goodrich.
You probably think it's a little strange by coming here like this. But you see, Nora and I have known each other for quite a while. We came from the same little town in Vermont.
Oh, I see. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. Nora and I wrote to each other all the time until after the fire when she was in the hospital. And then she suddenly stopped writing to me. This is the first chance I've had to come down to New York today. Then I heard that she was dead.
Yes. It happened.
Can't you tell me more about it? You see, we were very close. I don't know whether she ever told you about me, but she wrote me a great deal about you.
No. Jane Karaski. I don't remember her ever mentioning you. But look, could you come out to my house for dinner tonight? My wife was also one of Nora's dearest friends. I'm sure she'd want to talk to you.
Well, yes, I'd be very happy to, Dr. Lindstrom.
Fine.
Apparently you knew Nora even better than I did, and yet I don't think she ever mentioned your name.
Oh, that's strange. Nora wrote me a great deal about you and Dr. Lindstrom. Even little things like a blue velvet dress that she used to wear with a lace bodice.
Oh, I remember that. Whatever happened to it?
Oh, I gave it away months ago. Stephen, doesn't Jane remind you of someone?
Oh, you mean Nora? We were always taken for sisters. In college, we majored in chemistry together. In fact, that's the reason I came down here to New York, to see if I couldn't get a job as a laboratory technician.
Well, that's wonderful. If you're anywhere as good as Nora was, why, you can start in the morning.
Stephen.
Well, you know how I need one.
Well, that's probably not what Jane wants at all.
Oh, but it is. It's exactly what I want. Did you really mean that?
Would you like to go upstairs, Jane?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You'll excuse us, Stephen.
Certainly.
Jane, did Nora ever write you after the fire?
Yes, she did.
What did she say? Was she bitter?
Yes, she was. I don't think so much because of her face as it was...
What then?
Stephen. It broke her heart when he didn't go to see her. I suppose I shouldn't be telling you that.
Oh, that's all right. Did she write you about me?
Yes.
What did she say?
Do you really want me to tell you?
Yes.
Well, she wrote me that you told her that you hated Stephen because of what he'd done to her.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I never said anything of the sort.
Well, maybe I got the wrong impression. However, I was surprised to hear that you'd married him.
Well, why shouldn't I have married him? She never appreciated him anyway, or she would have married him when she had the chance.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Jane.
Yes?
Why did you come here tonight? Was it to get a job with my husband, or was it just curiosity?
A little of both, I guess. You knew Nora so well that, well, naturally, I was anxious to meet you.
Well, now that we've met, is there any reason why we shouldn't be friends?
Of course not.
Then do me a favor, will you, Jane?
Surely.
Don't speak to Stephen about Nora anymore. The quicker we forget her, the better. There's nothing we can do about it now.
I guess you're right. Tell me, Arline, what did you think of Nora?
What did I think of her? I think Nora was a fool. She could have had Stephen and everything a woman wants. Everything I've got. Money, security, comfort. What happened was her own fault.
I wondered about that.
What do you mean?
Well, I gathered from Nora's letters that if the experiment was successful, she was going to marry Stephen immediately. Wasn't what happened just bad luck?
I don't know what their plans were, and I don't care. But we weren't going to talk about it anymore. Shall we go down?
Five and a half cc's, 6, 7, 8 and a half.
Shouldn't that have 10?
10, of course. Jane, you amaze me.
Really?
For the 3 months you've been here, you seem to have an extraordinary grasp of things.
Well, I've tried hard, Steve.
Not only that, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because you and Nora were such good friends. I somehow have the feeling that I'm working with Nora.
She liked working with you a lot, Steve. She told me so.
Jane, I've never talked to you about Nora before. And maybe I shouldn't now.
Why not?
Well, it's just that it wouldn't do any good. I never understood what happened between us. After the first day in the hospital, she wouldn't let me see her.
What do you mean?
Well, first there was the 2 weeks in which she had to be alone and quiet. After that, she refused to see me. I sent her messages and flowers, notes with Arline. There never was any explanation.
Well, that's incredible.
Then I heard she left the hospital. I called her, and she told me herself that she never wanted to see me again. She said that she was dead to me.
Well, yes, she did.
What?
I mean that,
How do you know what she did?
Well, it's the sort of thing that Nora would have done.
Oh.
You asked me to go to France with you as your assistant.
Yes, and I can't blame you for refusing.
Won't Arline go with you?
No.
I'd like to reconsider that offer. I'll be glad to go to France with you.
Well, that's wonderful. But, can you get ready in time?
I think so. I can get my passport tomorrow.
Hello? Miss Karaski, please. Oh, tell her it's J.W. Rintz. Oh, thank you. She says she doesn't know you, Mr. Rintz.
She don't know me, huh? She don't know me. Why don't you let me speak to her?
She said she was too busy. If you'd like to leave a message...
Too busy, huh? Okay. Okay.
And now your left hand, Miss Karaski?
Who is it?
It's Arline.
Come in. I'm afraid the place is in an awful mess.
You're packing already.
Just a few things.
Jane, I've just been talking to Stephen.
You have?
You're not going to Paris with him?
No.
No. You've really been very clever, haven't you?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
I think you do. From that very first night when you came out to dinner, you've tried to separate us. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Why? Because you're such a friend of Nora's?
No. Because I love Stephen.
Then you admit it.
Of course I do. And I'm going to take him away from you if I can.
And you think you can?
I know I can. You never loved Stephen, Arline. You married him because he was successful. And you're hanging on to him because you know he's going to be more successful.
You feel very confident, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Well, Jane, do you want to tell me what your real name is?
My real name?
You see, I'm actually a rather careful person. I thought I ought to know more about Jane Karaski. In the town Nora Goodrich came from, there was no Jane Karaski. There never had been. And there was no Jane Karaski at Nora's school.
So you've had me investigated?
Oh, yes, thoroughly. I don't know who you are or what your game is, but I think I know enough to make trouble for you. Jane Karaski.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful, Arline. I don't suppose you remember those days in the hospital when Stephen wouldn't come to see Nora. And you were so kind to her. You told her that Stephen was too busy even to think about her. And that you hated him for what he was doing to her.
It isn't so.
Do you remember the night when Nora was trying the formula? You came into the apartment just as Stephen was leaving. Nora worked out that formula very carefully, Arline. What could have happened?
It wasn't my fault.
Stephen remembers seeing 40 cc's in that beaker. Can you explain that?
It's crazy. I never touched it.
It is true. You waited until I got under the anesthetic.
You are Nora Goodrich.
Yes.
But your face.
Plastic surgery, Arline.
Oh, I can't believe it. Nora's dead. Stephen identified the ring he gave her. It isn't true.
It is true. I suppose you didn't tell Stephen when I was in the hospital that I didn't want to see him.
Well...
And those flowers, Arline, did they look nice in your apartment?
He's been telling you lies.
And those messages and notes that you were supposed to deliver. What about them, Arline?
I did what I thought was best.
I'm sure you did. You did what you thought was best for you. Well, now I'm going to do what I think is best for me.
What are you going to do?
You know, Arline, there was a time when I might have used this on myself. But after what you've done to me, I'd just as soon use it on you.
But you're all wrong, honestly.
I could kill you right now and never regret it for a moment.
Jane, listen.
Nora's my name, remember?
Nora, I didn't do it, really.
I can be just as ruthless as you are and just as clever if you stand in my way. You can go now.
Morning.
Good morning, Steve. You're late.
Arline hasn't called, has she?
No, were you expecting it to?
Yes.
Is anything wrong?
Jane, Arline has left me.
Why?
It was never very successful.
Is it because we're going to France together?
No, I don't think so. It isn't jealousy. I know that Arline never really loved me.
You must have loved her.
No, not even that.
Then why did...
Why do we get married? That's a question I've often asked myself. After Nora died, nothing seemed to make any difference. I thought I'd never really love anybody again.
Were you right?
No, I was wrong. At least I was wrong in a way.
I don't think I understand.
You see, Jane, you're so like Nora, it's as if she hadn't died. The way you move, the way you think, the way you speak, it isn't only that you remind me of her, it's as if you were Nora. I don't know, maybe my memory of her is stronger than reality. Well, what I'm trying to say is, I love you.
Here's to Paris, Stephen.
No, darling, to us. Excited?
Terribly. Stephen, did you talk to Arline?
No.
Didn't you even try to get in touch with her?
No, I didn't.
Bourbon.
Flight 13 ready at gate 6.
Flight 13, isn't that ours, Stephen?
Ours is 17. You know, darling, I'll be glad to get away. Made such a mess out of my life. It'd be like starting all over again.
It's going to be like that for me, too.
You? I realize now that I know very little about you. Except that you were a friend of Nora's and you grew up together. Well, that's all I know. Except that I love you.
That's all you have to know. Be plenty of time to tell you about me later.
Paging Dr. Lindstrom. Will Dr. Stephen Lindstrom come to the...
Probably a last message from the Institute. Don't run away.
There she is. Are you sure that's the girl?
How many Jane Karaskis do you think there are in this town? The reward's as good as in my pocket. Come on.
Are you Jane Karaski?
Yes.
All right, come with us.
I'm taking a plane in just a few moments.
You were taking a plane. Now you're coming down to headquarters.
All right, Miss Karaski. How about going over your story once again?
I still can't understand what I'm being charged with. I tell you again that
You tell me what you want me to believe. How about making it true this time? You say you went to the University of Vermont with Nora Goodrich. No Jane Karaski has ever attended the University of Vermont.
I know. I only said I went to school with her because I want to get a job in the Institute.
Then you didn't know Nora Goodrich. You never met her?
Why do you keep asking me that?
Are you sure you didn't go up to Nora Goodrich's apartment the night she was murdered?
Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
And you never really met her? I wonder if you realize, Miss Karaski, just how stupid you're being. We already know enough about you to send you to the chair. Believe me, you'd be a lot better off if you told the truth. Bring Rince in.
Come in here, will you?
Come over here where Miss Karaski can see you. You know this man, Miss Karaski?
I've seen him.
When Nora Goodrich's car knocked you down, was Mr. Rince there?
Certainly I was. And we should have gotten 25 grand out of it, too. But she got tired waiting on my lawyer friend, said she'd handle the case herself.
Well, Miss Karaski?
Now, listen here, young lady. You can't deny that you and I had...
Mr. Rents, please, let me handle this case.
All right, but I got a reward coming, and she ain't gonna see...
Sit down, Rents. Sit down.
Okay. Okay.
Send in Miss Roper.
Come in, Miss Roper.
Miss Roper, you were in charge of the desk at Nora Goodrich's apartment. Do you recognize this woman?
Yes, I think so.
Where have you seen her before?
Well, when Miss Goodrich was in the hospital, she kept coming into the place asking for her. And then the night Miss Goodrich came home, she went up to see her.
Did you see this woman leave the building?
No, I didn't. When it happened, I went out in the street with everyone else.
I see. Miss Roper, did you ever see this gun before?
It looks like the one the police found in Miss Goodrich's apartment.
Thank you. That's all, Miss Roper. Did you ever see this before, Miss Karaski? Here, take it. Take it, Miss Karaski.
No. No, I don't want to touch it.
You recognize this, Miss Karaski? That's your signature, isn't it? And those are your fingerprints that were taken when you applied for a passport.
Yes.
Well, Miss Karaski, the fingerprints that were on this gun and those prints match perfectly. Can you explain that?
What are you trying to do? What are you accusing me of?
You don't know? Send Dr. Lindstrom in.
Dr. Lindstrom, please.
Stephen!
Jane, I don't understand. What is all this about, Inspector?
Dr. Lindstrom, did you ever hear Nora Goodrich mention Jane Karaski's name?
What? No, I didn't.
But you knew Nora Goodrich well.
We would have been married.
Do you know whether she ever owned a gun?
I'm sure she did.
You're sure you never saw this gun in her apartment?
I'm certain.
Wait. Am I being accused of the murder of Nora Goodrich?
You admit it?
Admit it? Stephen, you can't believe that. Stephen, I couldn't have killed Nora Goodrich. I'm Nora.
Jane, what are you saying?
Can't you see? Don't you realize? Oh, I can explain everything. Honestly, I can. Arline knows who I am. Arline will tell you. Where is she? Where is she?
Get Mrs. Lindstrom.
Come in, Mrs. Lindstrom.
Mrs. Lindstrom, this girl claims she's not Jane Karaski. She says she's Nora Goodrich. Can you identify her?
She says she's Nora Goodrich.
Arline, you know. Tell them.
Well, Mrs. Lindstrom?
All I know is that this woman who calls herself Jane Karaski threatened my life. She said she'd kill me if I came between her and Dr. Lindstrom.
You knew Nora Goodrich intimately?
Oh, yes.
Then this is not Nora Goodrich.
No. I never saw her before she came to my house. That's all I know.
Thank you, Mrs. Lindstrom. Well, Miss Karaski, or whatever your name is, here are the facts. We know Nora Goodrich's car knocked you down. We know you hope to collect a great deal of money from her. We found your fingerprints on the gun that was used to shoot Nora Goodrich. We know you lied about your name and where you came from. Wouldn't it be easier for you to confess now?
Confess? Confess? How can I confess to killing Nora Goodrich when I am Nora Goodrich? Don't you understand? Oh, Stephen. Stephen, you almost recognized me. Please tell them. Stephen,
You did it.
I couldn't
You
have
killed Nora Goodrich.
I'm Nora.
You killed Nora Goodrich.
Can't you see?
You killed her.
Don't you realize?
You killed Nora Goodrich.
Oh, I can explain everything.
You killed her.
Honestly, I can.
You did it.
Arline.
You killed Nora Goodrich.
Arline will tell you. Where is she?
Jane.
Where is she?
Why?
Stephen! Stephen, I can't lose you now. I can't.
Nora. Nora.
Stephen.
You all right? Well, what's the matter? You never should have tried that anesthetic.
Where's Arline?
Well, when I returned from my briefcase, I let her go and took over.
Oh, Steve, darling.
There. The experiment seemed to be very successful.
Oh, I don't care about that. Darling, will you make an honest woman of me?
You mean, you'll marry me? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, Nora.
Stephen.
Yes, dear.
How do you like the way I look?
Oh, what do you mean?
Just that. How do you like the way I look?
Well, you look just like Nora Goodrich. And I love it.